to me pod. I'm Dominic, joined by my co-host as always, Aaron. How you doing, bro?
Good, bro. How you?
Good, man. Good. Good to be back. First episode of 2024, and we thought the best way probably to start off again would be to do a little mid-season review because we're around halfway into the Premier League season. So I guess we probably have to start with top of the league, Liverpool. Um, one loss in the league this season so far, and it was in that game against Tottenham where they were kind of robbed of
Yeah,
the red card and offside disallowed goal situation. So I mean, if at the beginning of the season, if you said Liverpool would be top of the league with one loss only, I think many people wouldn't have believed you. If you look at I mean, our predictions as well as other people's pundits and other content creators, a lot of people have written Liverpool off saying that they were maybe going to finish fourth or fifth. It was kind of the end of their cycle with their players getting older. You know, Salah and Van Dijk. People were kind of saying they weren't as good as they had been in previous seasons. But I think they've kind of showed us that they've still got it and they've still got that know-how in terms of how to act in a title race. I think for me, one thing I did say, even in our prediction episode about Liverpool, was that they were going to outscore teams, and we've seen that throughout the season. Their attacks incredible. I mean, if even if they're not playing the best game, they've got the likes of Salah, Jota, Nunes, uh, who can come in and score goals and bail them out of games. So I don't know. Liverpool right now they're top of the league, but do you think that they can go all the way and win it?
they can. I think they can. It's just
Mm.
crazy. I didn't think they would. I thought they were terrible last season, bro. I thought they were gonna have like a shocker of a season, but I think they can actually. I think, as you said, they do outscore teams. They have the goal getters, and one thing about them is that they make the difference in in both boxes, if that makes sense. Like in defensive side, you've got Allison, you've got Van Dijk, Konate's had some top performances recently. And then
Yeah.
on the offensive side, I we'll get into it later, but I think Salah's been a bit up and down this season, but
Mm.
he will get you guaranteed goals and assists. Like he will. Like I think the first 7, 8 games he was playing out of his mind. Like
Yeah.
he was incredible. But nah, honestly, they make it count. I can't lie. Like no matter how bad you think they might play in a game, for example, like you'll see the end of the game and it'll just be like, oh, well, they've won. Do you know what I mean? And when it comes
Yeah.
to like the league, like as much as you need like consistency and stuff, like at the end of the day, points will win you the title. Do you know what I mean? And they just keep getting points. Like it's crazy to me they've lost one game. Like it doesn't feel like they've lost one game, but they have. Like it's crazy to me. And even that game they lost, like they were going at it in that game. Like they really could
Yeah.
have got like a draw minimum from that game. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
So yeah, man, it's crazy right now. I can't lie with Liverpool.
Yeah. Nah. So weird one. One game that really always sticks out for me with Liverpool this season is the 4-3 win to Fulham at Anfield, against Fulham at Anfield. I
Mm.
think, yeah, it was. I think they scored two goals at the end. They were 3-2 down. I think it was Endo scored a banger and then Trent scored a volley from outside the box. But in
Yeah,
that game as well, even earlier, McAllister scored like one of the goals of the season in that game. Like they've just got threat from everywhere. It doesn't matter how badly they played. Like I don't think they really deserve to win that game, but they've just got the quality in the players that can bail them out. And I think we'll get onto it later when we talk about Arsenal. But I think that's like the difference between Liverpool and Arsenal this season is like Saka is just not on the same level as Salah, where if the game's not going your way, you can give him the ball and he can make something happen and he can bail you out and he can just win you the game like that. And Liverpool have players like that all over the pitch. You've got Alisson, defensive end. We said like he can keep them in games. He's probably the best goalkeeper in the world. Van Dijk, Kanate, as you said, has been good this season. Trent as well has been ridiculous this season. Um, and and yeah, but I mean, you said you thought Salah's a bit up and down this season. What do you mean by that?
in the first like 8, because I remember last season I thought he was really bad until about March, and then I thought he was really good from March to the end. But then um this season I was thinking, oh, he's not gonna do that well. Like the first 7, 8 games, Salah, like I can't lie, I was even talking about how Salah can potentially overtake Hazard and stuff. Like I was really into it. I was like, bro, this Salah is crazy. Like he was like the full game, he was playing like well. Like he'll get every touch he gets the ball, it'll be a good pass, it'll be a nice through ball. Like he'll be doing something every single time. I was like, wow, like this is a player. Like this is Salah. Like this is like 17, 18 and 21, 22 Salah. Like this is proper
Yeah,
Salah. And then I don't know, it felt like from after like maybe around game week 10, it just kind of felt like when I was watching him, like the performances just became like, I don't know, kind of like how they were last season, where but then he'll just leave with like a goal and an assist this time. Whereas last season, for like the first half of last season, it was like he was playing bad, but he also wasn't getting any assists or any goals because like he'll be playing bad and then he'll maybe play a great pass to Darwin and Darwin misses, and then that game he
mm,
doesn't get any assists. But this season it's a bit different. Like Darwin's still missing, but it's like he's actually Salah's getting the GA to go with it, and he's winning in
yeah.
games. I think I'm trying to think. It might have been Palace, but I'm not 100% sure. But it might have been Palace. If not Palace, then it would have been against us. Where Salah, I thought Salah played terrible, but when Trent scored that banger against us, Salah got the
Yeah.
assist. So
Mm.
it's like, oh, okay, what
Can't
can
beat
you
this
do,
guy,
bro?
man.
Yeah, like you can't beat this guy, like honestly. But yeah, no, I think he's been a bit up and down this season. But you said we'll come onto it later. But I think in comparison to Saka, I think Saka's in terms of like pure just performances and all their like touches of the ball. I feel like Saka's probably been around the same, probably better in my opinion. But as you said, the difference is that even though Saka's actually added it to his game where he'll be playing bad maybe and then he'll get a goal or an assist
Yeah.
and he'll just change the tie. Like I think against Chelsea, so I don't think Saka had a good game, and then out of nowhere, back post cross goal, and then
Mm.
they tie the game. Do you know what I mean? But it feels like it feels like this season at least with Saka, that's not been the case like as frequently as someone like Salah. So when the team's playing bad, you can't afford to have him also playing bad because he's not gonna get you that every single time. Whereas with
Yeah.
Salah and like Van Dijk and Alisson, it feels like when even if the team's playing bad, no matter what, they're gonna like help you to stay in the game or win the game. Do you know what I mean? No matter how they're playing, like in the crucial moments, Alisson will make the greatest save ever and then roll the ball out and they'll play and go attack. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It feels like with Arsenal, it doesn't feel like it's the same way. It feels like they don't have that sort of consistency. Like they can do it against Chelsea, against the Luton, but every week, nah, I don't think they can do it. I think that's the difference.
And I mean, I know you've been critical of this man in the past, but how much credit do we have to give to Jurgen Klopp for this kind of Liverpool resurgence? Because everybody wrote them off coming into the
Yeah.
season, saying that it was like, I mean, some people said Liverpool were completely finished in terms of challenging City and Arsenal, putting Arsenal as overtaking them in terms of City's challenges. But I mean, he's found a way to kind of recreate the side, and he's got them firing again. So how much credit do you give to him?
I think a lot goes to Klopp because he's actually been, from in my opinion, at least from what I've seen, I think he's been good. Like his in-game management has gone up a lot. Like he's compared to last season at least. Like it's really like a lot better than it used to be. Um, his actual like decisions. I still think the squad building's a bit weird. Like you look at the squad and it's just like there's no number 6 still. There's just a bunch of 8s. Well,
Mm,
Endo you could say is a 6, I guess, but I don't know. Like I still think the squad building is a bit weird. But one thing about Klopp, and that's always been the same with Klopp, is when you get him his like preferred players, like he will make it work. Like back when Liverpool in their prime, all the players that Klopp had was like these are the best players for his sort of style of play. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? You have Mane, Salah, Firmino, Henderson, Wijnaldum, Fabinho. Like these players were perfect, and it feels like now he's sort of getting. I don't think he's not there yet necessarily, but he's getting back to that point of where um he's got Salah. I think Diaz hasn't been too great this season, but Diaz is sort of suiting his style of play a little bit more. It feels like Curtis Jones has been massive for them actually out of
yeah,
possession. He's doing very well without the ball and with the ball, obviously. And then obviously you got Van Dijk and Konate's taken a bit of a step up this season as well. And obviously Trent's doing his thing as usual. Like it does feel like now the team's sort of firing on all cylinders. Whereas like maybe last season it wasn't really the same. Last season it was more of like a someone might be in form and then someone else might not be, and then someone might come into form and someone else might not. But now I feel like they're all pushing together at the same time.
Yeah, no, definitely. And then last thing I'd probably say on Liverpool is obviously you spoke about them being good in both boxes, but I feel like the midfield is probably the one weakness in that team if you were gonna nitpick. As you said, no real six. Obviously, they got Endo in there, but you wouldn't say he's really gonna be that long-term six.
Yeah.
Obviously, he signed McAllister and Szoboszlai in the summer. I think McAllister's been decent. I think Szoboszlai. I mean, Szoboszlai started well, but I think in recent weeks he's kind of dropped off a bit. And I think obviously with Liverpool winning and stuff, it doesn't really matter in terms of for their fans. They're still getting goals. They're not relying on him kind of to do that. But I think his performances in recent weeks haven't been too great. As you said, Curtis Jones, I'm a big fan of him. I think out of possession he's been really good, and even in possession to be fair as well. And Gravenberch on loan. I don't know. Is he loan or is he permanent
Nah, he's
signing?
permanent.
He's permanent.
Yeah, that's a funny signing. I can't lie. That's a funny signing.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know like where like what the vision for that is, to be honest, because you've got like he's not really a six, like he's an eight, but I don't know. You're gonna play him over McAllister or Szoboszlai. I don't know. I guess maybe he's as depth to kind of have numbers in that, and he's a decent player. So
One thing I seen this guy on Twitter that's like a Liverpool fan and he does like lots of football analysis. His name's Samuel, and one thing that he said was it feels like he said it's a bad signing, and he said it feels the same as Gakpo, which is in the sense
mm,
of Gakpo is a good player, but it's like they don't need that type of player. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like they have and someone else said, I can't remember who, but someone else said like it feels like all Liverpool's players just like they have the same type of player in each position, like the same archetype of player. Like you have
mm,
Gakpo, Nunes, Jota, and Diaz are all kind of like they all kind of play the same role in this sort of attack. So it's like it doesn't make sense when you have four of them. No, when you have three of them, why would you sort of buy another? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
That sort of thing doesn't really make sense. And same for Liverpool. Like basically every Liverpool midfielder, apart from maybe Harvey Elliott and Endo, all play best at left centre mid. Curtis Jones, McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, all of them are like left eights. So I don't know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense the signing so far. At least. But
yeah. But I mean, it's working out, man.
yeah,
But
that's the thing. It is working, but yeah, no, that's something I noticed.
yeah. So moving on to second place, Manchester City. Uh, Obviously your boys. I think it's been an interesting season. It's been funny, because I don't know. For me, I just see the same cycle with you guys every season. Like you have this little bit in the winter where it's not clicking. Pep's like, I don't recognize my team. These guys, they're not whatever. And then it clicks around this time, January through to March is normally when you guys get into gear. And I don't know, I feel like this season, I don't know, people are like, nah, but City really do look like they're in trouble. But
Mm.
you guys find yourself in second place. How have you seen the season from your perspective?
I just think people didn't really capitalize like that. Like I think everyone's been kind of bad. Like maybe
Mm,
apart from Liverpool, I think Liverpool have been quite strong, but everyone else has just been kind of bad in my opinion. Like I feel like I don't know. Like I was even talking to one of my friends about it. He's a City fan, and I was even saying like because I've been screaming like all this Pep slander for the whole season, but then he's a big Pep fan. But he was like actually like on a real note, I think Pep has to leave like end of this season. Like hopefully we do something like win the Champions League again, and then Pep
I,
just
I
goes.
I agree. He has to leave at the end of the season. He has to. Yeah, he has to get out.
But on a real note, it does feel like all the things about people saying it feels different. It does feel different. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like the other seasons, at least, it kind of I don't know. It felt like the other seasons where we've done like a nice run. Like 2021, we were eighth, I think, at Christmas, and then everyone was just terrible, and we just ran away with it. And then, um, what was the other season? Was it last season? Last season it was like we were. Well, I can't remember where we were last. Probably around like third or fourth, maybe.
Yeah, I think you were fourth, maybe.
Yeah, but it feels different this time. I'm not gonna lie, like especially because KDB wasn't back yet. But when KDB came back, yo, I can't lie, all the faith was restored, man. But if you ask me before that, before that, if you ask me, I would 100% say like we're not winning the league this season because everything just looks so broken. All the signings, like it doesn't, like the signings don't make sense apart from maybe like one or two, like the way players are playing doesn't make sense. Like not literally nothing made sense to me, and it was just like I don't know. It just felt like there's so many things going wrong, and then that period where we lost. Oh no, we didn't even lose. I think yeah, no, we lost one game that period. But watching the games that period, terrible, man. We drew 3-3 to Tottenham at home, which doesn't happen. Like we don't draw at home to Tottenham. We lose away to Tottenham, but we win at home normally. But we drew at home to Tottenham 3-3 that had like a right back and left back playing centre back. Like they didn't have any
Yeah.
centre backs that game. Um, we drew to Liverpool, which was that was probably the one that really tipped me. No, that was one of them, but Liverpool, that draw was just terrible. Like I think Pep came out and said like the fans need to be louder or whatever. But when you
Oh
watch the
yeah.
game, that game was terrible. Like we were on top dominating, and Pep was just like, no, like just don't attack. And then they went and scored. Chelsea game was like what 4-4. That game was one of the that game set me off, man. I can't believe we and the worst thing about that game is that if you watch the goals we scored, they're all just jammy goals. Like none of them are real, like proper like Man City type goals where we're like
Yeah.
actually like like creating a goal and scoring. Like all of it was just like a deflection, a corner, a penalty, a counter attack tap in. Like it's just random. Like these goals are not like it wasn't a convincing draw. Do you know what I mean? And then we
Yeah.
lost and Pep subbed Foden in the game. Pep subs Foden, and then 2 minutes later we concede. Like I don't know, everything's just like I don't know. It didn't make sense to me. But now KDB's back, you get the sense that things are sort of they're turning
Mm.
in the direction that we'd want it to. I guess with the Newcastle game, obviously. I don't know if you caught that one, but great finish. He came off the bench and then great assist. And now it feels like okay, like he even though he can't actually play a 90 yet, he said he's not ready to play a 90. It does feel like there's a bit more of like the team sort of look to him, if that makes sense. Even
Yeah.
though Kyle Walker's technically the captain, like the team like when he came on against Newcastle, he would just like walk to wherever he wants the ball, and then he'll get into the half space and they'll just pass it to him. Like whatever he does with it, he does with it. It seems like sort of the team have that sort of belief that they didn't have before, and it just feels like things are kind of shifting in our favor as well. And at the same time, when the teams below us are dropping points as well, like it feels a bit more like now I think I believe in the title charge, even though there's proof that I should have believed before. I think now I actually believe in it.
Nah, fair enough. I think yeah, obviously KDB come back is a huge plus, and Haaland's gonna be back soon. And yeah, no, 100%. KDB is your talisman on the pitch, even if he's not the captain. But I mean, I think for most of this season, really, this has been Foden's Manchester City team. Like he's been off the right, inside in the 10, in his best role. Finally, for like prolonged series of games, we're seeing him in that number 10 position, and he's showing us what he can do. And my question for you is, how do you think Pep will then balance Foden and KDB? Like, will it just be KDB's back now, Foden, you're back to doing wing shifts, or because for me, I think the way I don't know, I think the way to kind of take the City team to the next level would be to get Foden and KDB as eights, get that working in your team somehow, because I think that would just be unstoppable. Like you've got two of the best creative players in the world on the pitch at the same time. You know, one of them's the best midfielder the Premier League has seen in recent years, and you've got one of England's greatest players like to come through in recent times. So yeah, how do you think Pep will play it?
How I think Pep will do it is send him right back to right wing. I think he's gonna play him. The thing is, if it was me personally, I would play both of them in the 10 and
Mm.
just put Bernardo Silva and Rodri behind them. That's it. But with Pep, what he's gonna do and what I don't have the proof yet, but I know he's gonna do. He's gonna send him to the right for like the run in and for like the big games. But games against like weaker teams, he's just gonna put him back in the 10 and just be him and KDB in the 10. But with me, my thing is I've never really had a problem with that anyway. Because apart from this season, obviously, in my opinion, Foden's best sort of run of like games and stuff was before he got injured in 22, 23. So last season,
Mm.
he was playing off the
Okay.
right and KDB plays next to him. And the thing with KDB and Foden is they just always have this sort of like connection or chemistry. Like, because I'm pretty sure it was 1920. I remember when we played Liverpool in lockdown, and Foden, I'm pretty sure Foden and KDB were just like running it. Like since then, they've always just had like a sort of chemistry where like they understand each other, and because they sort of play in like their best position is sort of similar, and Pep views them as like one and the same. It just feels like they have sort of a chemistry together. And like when KDB came on against Newcastle, Foden instantly just went out to the right and was no for a bit he stayed in the middle. Then he went out to the right and just like KDB like come like just overlap and then just played like that from there on. And they do work well together there. So I'm not too fussed about him going on the right as long as KDB's there. My only problem with him on the right was when it was just Alvarez and Bernardo Silva in the 10. I was just like, bro, like this can't happen. But with KDB, I don't really mind to be fair. And I think you'll probably see it for like the Champions League knockouts and stuff. You'll probably see Foden back on the right, and then KDB and Bernardo Silva in the middle. Probably that's what I would assume.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I don't know. For me, I still think I still have you guys as favorites for the league, man. I mean, it's champions respect, I guess, is what I have to call it. Like I've seen it so many times. I don't see how I don't see it changing. To be honest, Pep always figure something out, and you guys will go on a mad run. And you know what I'm saying, you guys are unstoppable when you're in that form. And Haaland is coming back still. Like we've not even seen him come back yet. KDB is, I mean, his first game back, what 4 minutes on the pitch, he got a goal and then game winner assist,
Yeah,
and he's just warming up. He can't even play a full 90, as you said. So I think it could just be devastating if you guys really get into full gear. And as you said, I think the league has been with the leagues have been a bit weaker with other teams dropping points, and I think we're kind of seeing that with who's in third place at the moment. We've got Aston Villa, Unai Emery, back in the league. Villa doing well again. I don't know. It's been a weird one because Villa. I like Villa. They're a very well drilled team in terms of like I like their high line defensively. Their line is ridiculous. Like we beat them, yeah. But bro, the amount of offsides in that game, I was like, and it's just they're just so like it's almost like mechanical. Like they just know exactly when to jump, and they catch teams offside so frequently, and they're compact as well. Like they squeeze up properly. They press well. You've got the likes of Ollie Watkins is going crazy this season. I think it's like 9 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League, which is mad. Some of the signings as well that they've brought in have started to do well. You've got DRB,
mm.
even Pau Torres, to be honest, has started to show up in recent weeks and do really well. I didn't think that he would really be that effective in the Premier League because he's one of the more ball playing centre backs. He's not really got that. Like he's a big guy, but he's not really one of those physical front foot defenders. And I would have thought in a league like this, you need that. But I mean, the way Villa's defensive organisation is set up, he's been playing really well in that system. Um, and yeah, no, Villa have just been solid. What do you make of them so far? And what do you think? Do you think they're gonna keep this up, or do you think there's a drop off coming?
You know what they used to say about Arsenal at the top of the table. They used to say it was like I think it was last season they said actually. It was that elephant at the top of a tree coming down, bro. That's the I don't think they can hold it up. I
Mm,
can't lie. I don't think they can hold it up. I think Douglas Luiz has actually been pretty good this season.
yeah, I forgot to
He's
mention he's been class.
Yeah, he stepped up a bit, and I actually don't like McGinn. Like that's one of my like historical like players I just don't rate is McGinn. But
Why?
I don't aesthetics. I just don't like the way he moves on the ball and stuff, and the way he like kicks the ball. Like I don't like it. But McGinn, he's been pretty good. Like he's a hard worker, and he's quite good. He is quite good on the ball. To be fair, I just don't like the way it looks. But he is a good player, to be fair. But nah, he's been good this season for them as well. Someone that's been a bit, I don't know, a bit disappointing, I would say, for them is Diaby. I think Diaby was expected to be a lot better than what he's been so far. But at the same time, he's the sort of the way they play and the formation they play as well. It's like he's not really the role he's normally being used in. It doesn't really suit him that much, in my opinion.
Mm.
Where he sort of plays off Watkins. Like I don't think that's like what he's really into. Like I think he's more of like a proper winger, like inverted, like on the touchline and just come inside and just attack them. But yeah, no, I think he's been a bit disappointing so far. But I don't know. I feel like it will catch up to them. I feel like it catches up to everybody unless you're like built for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only exception I'd say is probably Arsenal, because I think Arsenal were built for it last season and they just folded. But I don't know. I think it catches up to everyone and it will catch up to them. Where did
I think
Newcastle finish last season then?
last season they were fourth.
Fourth, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. First.
I think I don't know. Yeah, no, I agree. We'll probably catch up to them. I mean, from the United game, obviously we came back and beat them 3-2, and I don't know. For me, it was just kind of it was weird that Emery didn't make any kind of adjustment. Like it was so obvious what we were doing. We were just trying to find the space in behind Rashford, Garnacho, Højlund. We've got rapid guys, and we're going to exploit that. And yeah, okay, the high line is great. Like it's well drilled, it's organized, but 2-0 up at Old Trafford, you think that, surely, you know, might make a little bit of a change. Okay, drop the
Yeah,
line 5 yards. Do you know what I'm saying? Maybe drop off instead of squeezing up every time. Do you know what I mean? And make an adjustment there. And I think obviously that's what ultimately cost them the game. But yeah, I don't know. I think for Villa, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can really see them staying up there. I feel like they'll probably drop off to around fifth, sixth, because I still think they're a good side. And I think with everyone else dropping points as well, um, I don't think they're gonna like fall off the face of the earth or anything. But think I don't think they're gonna I don't think they're gonna make Champions League
yeah.
for next season. But I mean, speaking of dropping off, we've got Arsenal in fourth, and
It's tough.
I'll let you talk on this. What have you got to say about Arsenal, bro?
I thought they were gonna run away with the league this season, man. I thought they were gonna cook, bro. These guys, man. They're, you know what's crazy to me as well is that I saw their like recent run of games, and I thought our ones was bad against like Liverpool, Chelsea, and that. Bro, they've
Oh yeah,
lost like three,
Arsenal
four.
internet recently, bro.
Bro, they've
They've
been
been
losing games like left, right, and center. They lost to West Ham at home. They lost to
lost to
Villa, I
Fulham
think,
away.
away. Who else was that?
They lost to Fulham away.
Yeah, Fulham. They're losing like so many games, and then they lost to Liverpool in the cup. That was a crazy game. That's one game that I
Oh
rated
no, that
so
game was
much for.
ridiculous, bro. I have no idea. Yeah,
Yeah,
Liverpool rotated. They had injuries. Arsenal had all the chances.
I rated Klopp for that game though. He made the right in-game changes. He brought on, I think Conor Bradley it is at
Mm,
fullback, and I think he moved Trent into midfield, and then from there they won the game. like they scored I think was it. I don't know if it was 1-0 or 0-0 at that point. I think it was 1-0, and then from there they scored the second and won the game. But
yeah,
Klopp, I think I rate him highly for that game. I can't lie. The in-game changes and Arsenal. That brings me on to the topic of Arsenal's like actual that game sort of like to me like symbolizes what's wrong with Arsenal. And I can't lie, it's this system they've got going on. And
yeah.
my
I was gonna say
this system they've got going on is not bad. He's got his best scorers from last season on the touchline.
why
When
they can't affect the game like that.
yeah, like literally, like Saka's not like Saka is someone you want to play more like an inside forward type of right
Mm,
winger. Like and Martinelli is literally an inside forward. Like it doesn't make
yeah,
any sense.
Martinelli's best the closer you have him to the goal.
Yeah.
100%.
And I'm pretty sure he scored the most for them last season as well. He scored probably like 20
I
20 plus.
think, yeah, I
In
think
the
there's 15
Champions,
in the Prem. Yeah.
yeah. But in the Champions League, they've done quite well. But that needs some context because I've seen the teams that they're scoring against, and those teams are not doing well in their leagues. So it needs some context. But nah, in the Champions League they have some goals. But then until recent, I can't remember if it's still the same now. But until recently, it was like Martinelli on like 2 goals in the Prem, Jesus on 3, Saka on 3. I think 4 now. But I don't know. It just feels like all this system change and everything hasn't worked the way Arteta wanted it to. And I think it's because, well, it's not entirely, but it's partially because Havertz just isn't really that good. Like
Mm,
he's not to the level. Well, I can't say to the level they expected because at Chelsea he wasn't like great either. So it's like I don't know
yeah.
what they expected him to do. But sort of the way that it's sort of been designed is kind of similar to like the current City setup where you'd expect someone like for us, for example, we have like Alvarez, who would be the guy playing off Haaland and getting them goals.
Mm,
And he's got like I think 20 GA right now. So he's been getting the output there. But Havertz doesn't match that at all. And just in general play, like he's not really much of a presence. Like that Liverpool game was a big one. Like he had probably like 2, 3 chances where
yeah.
like he could sweat it to someone or just have a shot, and then he takes like 4 more touches and then passes it into the keeper's hand. Or there's like times where there's a counter attack, Saka's running in, and he could just play it, but then he plays it behind, so the player has to slow down, and then as a result, everyone else slows down and defense gets back. It just feels like I don't know. It feels like that signing hasn't worked at all, and it's kind of clear because now you're seeing lots of links to Ivan Toney, who sort
Mm,
of everything you'd say Havertz brings, you'd sort of say Tony does the exact same but better, and everything maybe you could say Havertz brings to the midfield, which I don't think he brings a lot to like the midfield necessarily, but everything that Havertz sort of brings or would bring to like a deeper midfield role, you'd say they get that from Onana, who they're linked to as well. So it's like you don't really see, I don't know, you don't really see the purpose of that signing or the system change right now. I thought they would stick with what they had last season and just go off that and go for the win, I guess. But I don't know, man. It's weird. It's a really weird one because now you have a lot of players who aren't in form. Like Martinelli's in bad form, Saka's not in great form either. Um, I don't know. It just feels weird. Like,
Jesus saying in great form.
yeah, Jesus is not. Zinchenko as well. He's getting like
Yeah.
cooked by Arsenal fans like all the time. Like I don't know. It just feels quite weird at the moment with Arsenal. I'm not sure what exactly they're gonna do next, but we're gonna have to wait and see in it.
Yeah, no, I think the Tony links, the striker links are interesting because Arsenal fans seem to think that the problem is like just them not putting the ball in the goal. And I feel like yes, obviously, but I think it's more to do with the midfield and the way that in terms of you've got Declan Rice there, and I think Declan Rice has been a great player. I mean, recent great player for Arsenal, but I don't think he's done much differently to what he was already doing at West Ham.
Yeah,
So when I see Arsenal fans on Twitter like or like recently, I think the clip I saw was against Fulham where it was like highlighting the times Declan Rice could have progressed the ball forward or whatever line breakers. I'm like, bro, this is not
I
Declan
don't know.
Rice's game. That's not what
Yeah,
what he was signed for. Like his best attributes in the midfield in terms of on the ball is probably carrying it forward. Like that's how he's going to progress it. He's not going to be breaking lines like that. That's he's supposed to be there to lock down the midfield. So you've got Erdegaard who can go forward and create, and then Havertz who can kind of play off the striker. But as you said, the Havertz sign hasn't really worked out, and I think it's just kind of it's like I feel like I don't know. Arteta is like it's almost like he's trying to prove that the signing will work. Like
yeah.
he's stubborn with it. Like he's consistently playing Havertz regardless of his performances. And there was a little patch where Havertz got a couple goals, couple of assists. I think he got the winner against Luton or something in that 4-3 winner they got. And like Arsenal fans were like, oh, like this is why we signed him. You know what I'm saying? Like he's worth it. He's coming good. But I don't know. For me, at the time of the signing, I didn't understand it, and still, like halfway into the season, I don't really understand what the idea is. And now, as you said, they're looking for or they're linked to midfielders and they're linked to strikers, and it's like what really has the Havertz signing actually accomplished? Um, and yeah, I don't know. I think in terms of in terms of strikers though for Arsenal, who who do you think would kind of be their best bet going forward? Because obviously they're linked probably heavily or most heavily to Ivan Toney. Um, I think he just got I think his ban just got lifted today.
Yeah.
So yeah, but who do you think really is the nine for Arsenal? If they're gonna get a nine in January, who do you think?
Um, maybe Ivan Toney. If not, well, it does actually depend on the system as well. That's another thing.
Hmm,
If they're insisting with this system, then I guess, yeah, Ivan Toney would make a lot of sense. If they want to get their wingers, like, if they want to get their wingers on the ball a bit more and a bit close to the goal, Ivan Toney's a good one, but you could also go. I think Ivan Toney's a bit better, like playmaking, like sort of like Harry Kane. Do you know what I mean? Like in sort of like transition or like moments you can play the ball in behind and stuff. But like
yeah,
sort of if you just want like a bit more flexibility maybe or like tight spaces and stuff and close control, maybe you could go for like a Lautaro Martinez. Maybe
yeah.
maybe in summer. I think you could go for the same amount you pay for Tony, you could probably get Lautaro as well. I've seen people say Osimhen. I've seen people say that they're linked to the Osimhen and they're interested in Osimhen, and he has like 100 mil release clause or something close to that. But I'm not sure how it works
I
at
think
Arsenal at least.
I think if like for them to get Osimhen, like the they need to supply him properly.
Yeah,
Like he's someone who thrives off like balls into the box and things like that. So like the crosses are gonna have to be coming in. And to be fair, I think like Saka's got a decent cross in him. The guy can put a ball into the box. And I guess if you want to stick with wingers staying wide, so they're in those areas that they can whip balls into the box, then yeah, it makes sense. And then maybe you could have Havertz playing off him, running to the space because he'll attract defenders when he goes a certain way, and then they'll Havertz could be
mm,
free somewhere else in the box. But I don't know. I feel like Arsenal's like the way they were playing last season, I think was the best in terms of getting the best out of their entire front line. Because they can do that with Osimhen and it can work well, but I still don't think you're getting the best out of Saka. I don't think that's Martinelli's game at all. I think those are guys
yeah,
that you need to be close to the goal. So you need a striker that's gonna facilitate that. For me anyway. So
yeah. No, I agree. Martinelli, actually, I was talking to someone about it with Martinelli. It feels like, and also with Gabriel, it's just something I know. But I feel like Arteta's just ready to get rid of them. Like, like they nearly like they signed Trossard, but they were supposed to sign Mudryk. Like they would have signed
yeah,
Mudryk if Chelsea hadn't come up with a better deal. They would have got Mudryk, and who knows where Martinelli would be now. Obviously, I think Martinelli's a better player than Mudryk, but the way that Arteta felt like so like eager to get him, like 80 mil on a winger is not like oh
not
yeah,
bad.
he's come to sit on the bench. Like that's a winger that's going to compete, especially because it's not like a Guardiola situation where Pep rotates the team every single game basically. Like he puts new players in here, someone in here, someone in here. Arteta doesn't change his team at all. Like he plays the same 11. Saka was playing full 90s against like Lens and stuff in the Champions League group stage. Like Saka's been playing every game basically, and it feels like there's not much rotation unless it's like forced through like bad form. And same with Gabriel. Start of the season, there was links to Gabriel, links to Saudi,
He wasn't
and
playing at the start of the season. I was
yeah,
playing Kirill.
yeah,
Yeah,
he just stopped playing him. Now, I was when I was watching, I was like, what? Why? Like, why are you
yeah.
just not playing Gabriel? Like, I don't know. And now I've seen apparently they're linked to Branthwaite from Everton, so it does feel like he's ready to replace. Obviously, you see it with Raya and Ramsdale. Like, it feels like there's certain players he just like doesn't really like feel too strongly about. Like he's ready to get rid of them. And I think that's I don't know. I feel like if they sign Osimhen, that kind of seals Martinelli's fate, in my opinion, because like where I don't know where Martinelli's gonna play. Obviously,
Yeah,
Timber's coming back from injury soon. I've seen him like on the pitch training and stuff, which is crazy. But I think he would help them a lot defensively because he's quite good defensively and can go into the midfield. But I don't know if it feels a bit like. Well, what I actually said it feels like to one of my friends was that it feels like the team is the squad building, it feels like it's what you'd expect from a team that's had like 3 different managers over like the last 4 years, maybe. Like it feels like there's players for different systems. Like there's like Fabio Vieira. I don't know what he does at Arsenal right now. I don't know what Emil Smith Rowe is doing either. Like I don't see them play. Do you know what I mean? They
Yeah.
could be great players, but Arteta doesn't rate them at all or trust them to play games. It just feels like Saka is someone who's better, kind of close to the goal. Martinelli's inside forward. Odegaard's not really like a volume creator. He's more of like a kind of like a playmaker, like a deeper playmaker.
Yeah.
It just feels like the team. There's so many players who are like stuck between generations almost, or stuck between phases of like squad building. In my opinion, at least, it doesn't feel like there's one sort of set like this is the 11, like this is the Arsenal identity. But I don't know, man. It'll be interesting to see what happens next.
Yeah, nah, definitely. But let's moving on to the North London rivals, Spurs in fifth. Um, I think it's been an interesting season for Spurs. Obviously, they had a moment where I mean it was them and Arsenal top of the league.
Mm.
And then they've obviously been quite unlucky with injuries, to be fair. You mentioned there were points where they were playing like 4 fullbacks across the back line. Um, and they had a rough patch. They picked up like I think it was like 2 or 3 losses in a row.
I think it was
But
4 losses, and then they got points against us. That's what I remember. Four
oh yeah,
losses, they got
yeah,
a draw against us.
yeah. But the one thing though, I think for me it's been that stands out about Spurs is how consistent Ange's just been with their style of play. Like regardless of the injuries and who's coming in and who's playing where, he's like, this is how we're gonna play. And if you don't like it, like, you know what I mean? Like you're not gonna play. So and I think it's a testament to him as a coach because he's managed to get guys that under Conte looked like a shadow of themselves to play in his system and really play well and replace the likes of Madison and Basuma and so on when they've been injured or unavailable and stuff. We've got guys like Højbjerg and Skip and stuff coming in and doing well. Benson Core as well played really well against us the other day. Um, and yeah, I don't know. Spurs, it's a weird one for me because I think they're probably gonna pick up momentum again once their players come back. And obviously they're um they're only playing 1 game a week because they're not in Europe and what they're out of the Carabao, still in the FA Cup, so I have that I think at some point.
I
But
think I think we're
yeah.
playing them in the FA Cup.
Oh yeah, isn't that yeah, that's like this weekend.
No,
Yeah,
next week I think.
next week.
Yeah,
So I mean they could even be out of the FA Cup, so it could just be 1 game of the week for the rest of the season. And I think yeah, they're really gonna be able to pick up momentum and start kind of pushing up from there. But yeah, I think for me, looking at it like midway through the season, I'd say Spurs are probably I think they should get top four. Like I think it would be a disappointment. This like if you're looking at it from this point of the season, it'd probably be disappointing if they missed out on top four.
yeah, no, I agree. To be fair, I think they'll be happy with fifth as well because that's. Oh no, it's not Champions League anymore, is it?
Nah, because Man
Yes.
United and Newcastle fumbled the bag in the
I was
Champions
gonna
League,
say they'll be
man.
happy, but nah, they weren't. Okay, yeah, fairs. But yeah, no, they've actually had some players surprise me, like Porro. I rated Porro before, but I didn't rate him that much. Like I rated him as a player. I recommended Chelsea should sign him as a right back before they had Gusto, but he was always someone like when I watched, he didn't look like a good defender. And he reminded me a lot of Cancelo, where he provides like on the attacking side, but defensively like he doesn't do much, so you have to kind of cover for him. But since coming to Spurs, like he seemed like a new guy. Like defensively, he looks solid most of the time, except when he came against Rashford. Rashford had a good time against him, but
Yeah,
apart from that, like he looks like a solid defender. Like and he's doing it on the opposite end of the ball as well. Like going forward, he's providing, he's getting assists here and there. Like he's doing well. And same could be said for Adogi, in my opinion. I think he's been pretty good this season. I think
yeah,
he's
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 tough.
doing the role well, inverting and going high and stuff. But I think the biggest shock to me, at least, has definitely been Richarlison. I think he's been
Mm,
really good recently. And I didn't think he had that in him. I thought he was cooked. Like I thought he was done for. Even against you guys, I thought he was really good against United.
yeah,
And yeah, no, he's showing something I didn't know he had in him. Now they signed Timo. But yeah, they signed him on loan, I think. But apparently, Ange said he wants to sign him permanently after the United game. Which,
Interesting.
yeah,
After that United game,
yeah,
am I
after
correct?
United game. So I was like, I was like, you sure? But yeah, no, he looks like the same version of himself. To be fair, I think the
Yeah,
main probably disappointment I've seen from them is probably Brennan Johnson. I don't think that's a 50 mil player, and I
yeah.
don't know. I don't know, man. I don't see a 50 mil player then. I don't see how he becomes. Well, I can see how he could become a great player, but I don't see like that happening. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't look like it feels like he'll always be like around this sort of level, maybe a bit better, but not too stand out. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I don't
tough.
know. Yeah, the Ren Johnson signing for me, I was like I get it as like depth, as like an
Yeah,
option. He can play both sides. You know what I mean? He's a decent player, but I just thought the price tag like 50 million. Oh, I don't know, man. That's Premier League tax on a premium right there, man.
yeah,
So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, no Spurs. I think probably top four for them is where they should be looking at for the season. But yeah, moving on, then we've got West Ham in sixth, and yeah, David Moyes with a bit of resurgence this season. He's gone back to the style that he's been known for. I know last season he tried to kind of switch it up with some of the signings and playing a more of a possession style, but this season West Ham have just been back to that low block defend, hit you on the counter, and the players that they have are like so well suited for that. You've got Paqueta, you've got Kudus, you've got Bowen, you've got James Ward-Prowse on the set pieces. Like this is like West Ham heritage right here. What do you make of them so far this
bro.
season?
That's my boy, Ward Prowse, man. I'm glad he's getting the coverage now that people are
Mm,
seeing. Bro, this is a mid. I remember, bro, like 2 years ago, I was saying he's better than Henderson. Like Liverpool could sign him and he'd do a job, and they were saying, nah, no. I was like, bro, watch him. Like he's good, but he's doing well, man. He had a really strong start to the season. He's carried it on. He's dropped off a little bit, but it's not like bad form or anything. Like it's still good form. Do you know what I mean? He's doing his
yeah,
thing. Paqueta is showing me he's the real deal this season. He's been like
yeah.
serious this season, not gonna lie. And the boy Kudus, that's my boy,
Um,
man. Hopefully he's
yeah,
back for the next AFCON game because I think the first one he had an injury, so he didn't play.
yeah.
But
You lot
uh,
will need him against Egypt, boy.
honestly, but we got to hope for the best, man. But nah,
Mm.
obviously he's doing his thing. And Alvarez, I've been seeing a lot of West Ham fans have said Alvarez is the real deal. Like they're talking
Nah, he's
Declan
been very
Rice.
good.
They're
I,
talking.
I,
Obviously, you know that's a stretch in it, but they're talking like I've seen. Like I think there was a tweet from one of them like West Ham pages that was like, honestly, what can Edson Alvarez do? Or what can Declan Rice do that Edson Alvarez hasn't shown us now? And then Ogbonna liked it, and it was like, wait, what? Yeah, like it was crazy. So I don't know. It's quite interesting. It's gonna be funny to see how they do this season because they're doing strong. They're going strong right now. But I think Kudus out and who else is missing? I think Bowen might be injured or might. I'm not sure if he's injured now, but he might play. I'm not sure if he will or not, but he might play. And I think Paqueta's injured as well. So it's going to be
yeah,
interesting to see how they go without those guys because the drop off from like Paqueta on the left to like Ben Rama is quite steep to be fair. So
yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I like West Ham so far, man. They're doing well. They're doing well. I like it so far.
Yeah, no, I'm enjoying them. You know, it's just like something different in the league. It's not everyday possession. Sometimes it's that. I mean, low block, defend, well compact, hit on the counter attack, get your goals. You know, what I mean, make the most out of set pieces. Um, and then yeah, moving on to a team that doesn't make the most out of set pieces, is Man United. I mean, bro, I'm tired of this club, man. I'm not gonna lie, the last couple of weeks have been rough. I think for me, I've lost faith in Ten Hag. I think he probably will see out for the rest of the season just because of what's going on with the ownership and Sir Jim Ratcliffe and stuff like that. And I don't think anyway there's like an obvious candidate right now. If you're gonna sack him right now, who are you gonna get? I don't think there's anyone obvious, but bro, us this season, like I don't know, I just think back to summer where like we'd finished third. We signed Onana, Højlund, Mount. I'm like, all right, cool. I was like, Onana, good sign. That's the goalkeeper that we need. Højlund, young, exciting attacker. Like, yeah, he's gonna come good. Mount, Mount's a good player. I like Mount as a player, but I didn't really see where he would fit in our team because he wasn't exactly the type of midfielder that we needed. But I was like, all right, cool. Ten Hag, I need to see something in terms of style of play this season because the back end of the last season, we were just kind of getting over the line. Like we were playing very, and it wasn't great football to watch. But and like Rashford's goals had started to dry up by like April, May. So we were just kind of getting through. So I was like, okay, this season we're gonna have a full preseason, whatnot. Like I'm trying to see a style of play, and there's just nothing. Like we're so inconsistent, and we have these games every now and again where it's like, okay, like let's build on that, and we just don't. Like against Chelsea, we played decent, and okay, Chelsea aren't really the best team, and they're not in the best moment right now, but we played decent. There were a couple of things you could take away from that game, like our fullbacks jumped up to press, which is something that we don't normally do, and you're thinking, okay, right, that was good in that game. We stopped Chelsea from being able to play out, and we pressured them well, won the ball back, created a couple of opportunities from winning the ball back in their half. And then we just didn't see it again, and I'm just confused as to like why. Like you can clearly see that it worked well, and and why he's just not doing it again. It doesn't make any sense. And then you have things like his Ten Hag's persistency with McTominay in our midfield as the furthest forward player. And I understand that like we've had injuries and stuff, but every team has had injuries this season. You've got to deal with that, and that shouldn't take away from the way you're actually trying to play. Like it shouldn't be so kind of determined on the players that you have available to you. It should be, this is the idea, this is how we want to play. Whoever, like, you guys have to play like this, and if you don't like, you know what I mean, get out of the team. And it's like I don't know. I always hear Ten Hag say in press conferences that like, obviously he wants to play good football, but Man United have to win. And he understands that Man United, we're one of the biggest clubs in the world. We're expected to win every single game. And I think he's adopted this kind of extremely pragmatic like mindset about it. But we're not winning and we're not playing well. So like can we change something, please? What's going on? I don't really see how he's gonna fix it at this point because it's gone past the point where I'm like where I had faith in that in him like switching something and changing something. Like it just seems to be that he's set on this I can't even call it a style of playing, but this way of playing. And he's always like in press conferences, we've got a lot of injuries when Lissandro comes back, when Casemiro comes back, yada yada yada, we're gonna be better. And okay, these guys are back now. Like Lissandro made his return against Spurs. Casemiro's on the bench for that game. I think Mount's coming back soon as well. We don't have another game for like 2 weeks, I think, and it's in the FA Cup. So like now let's see what am I gonna see now? Because I think like so I don't think he's gonna get sacked during the season. I just don't think that's how Sir Jim will want. I don't think he'll want to throw a manager in kind of midway through the season, or and I don't think there's really an obvious like interim appointment either. I think like this is like Ten Hag, if he wants to keep this job, he's got to show something in this second half of the season, like a style of play. He's got to get results. And I don't know. I don't think I have faith in him doing that. But yeah, what do you think about United so far this season, man?
It's kind of just the same, but I think one thing that's really killed him, especially, is his signings. Because all the players
Mm,
he's advocated for, like none of them are working. Like he really strongly advocated for Anthony. Anthony's just been a failure. And then he came out in
yeah.
the no, that's another thing actually. That's the biggest thing that's kind of like bothered me. His press conferences are
They're
terrible.
terrible, bro.
They're
They're
so
so
bad.
bad. They're
He
so
said
bad.
Anthony's had like personal issues like off the field, which is what's distracting him from playing well. Which would be fair enough. Like he's had like off field issues and stuff, but he's been playing bad since way before that.
Yeah, exactly. Like he was already playing bad.
Like he's been playing bad since before they sent him on that leave to like sort out his stuff in Brazil. Like he was playing bad for like how long before that? Do you know what I mean? Like his performances haven't improved at all. Like I don't know. It just feels like he comes out and says stuff that doesn't make sense. Like you go and watch the games, and then you're like, okay, and then you go hear what he has to say for it, and you're like, that's just a lie. Like why are you lying? Like just tell the truth. Do you know what I mean?
We'll lose the game and we'll say, yeah, I think we played well. I'm like, bro, like, what
That's
do
what
you
I'm
mean?
saying. It's
Where,
like what
what positive do you see from the game?
Yeah, I don't know, man. But the signings, like Mount is one that I keep thinking about because Mount was 65 mil, I think, or something like that, or like 60,
50, 55, 55.
55. Mount was
Yeah,
55, right? And Mount, it was sort of like marketed as like Mount is gonna kind of like help Bruno, but also like be sort of like a bit deeper, kind of like Ericsson in a way, while
mm,
also being strong off the ball and stuff. Because
yeah,
Ericsson's obviously like he gets subbed off around like 60 normally, or he's
yeah,
just like weak without the ball because he's a 10 naturally, like he's not
yeah.
really a defensive sort of player. And when you say it like that, it's like cool, yeah, it makes sense. Like Mount being the sort of guy that would help out in the first phase a bit, but also help like going forward. But I just don't know where he is. Like I don't know where he
Nah,
is.
he's been so injured, man.
Yeah,
Like it's like calf issues, hamstring issues. Like he'll come back, he'll be in training for a bit, and he's injured again. Like I don't know, but
yeah, I've like literally this is the first like I've ever heard of like his like I just didn't know what happened to him, and then I've seen Kobe. Kobe's been great since he came in.
yeah,
He's
man,
doing
that's my
his
boy,
thing, man.
man.
He's doing his thing, but it's like I don't know. It just feels like he can't change it all by himself. Do you know what I mean? Like he's brought the stability.
He's 18 years of age. He shouldn't
Yeah,
be our best performing midfielder of the season.
exactly.
Like with all the money that we've spent on midfielders, all these signs that we've got, and an 18-year-old from our academy is looking like our best player, is looking like our most composed player on the ball.
Yeah,
Like he's comfy wherever you give the ball to him. He's like no matter what situation, like I'm confident that he's gonna find a way to get out of it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
And like he's playing in midfield by himself at some points. Like when there were a couple games where we had him and Amrabat in the pivot, and he like the ground this kid was having to cover. I'm like, what's going on? Like, what actually is the plan here? And yeah, I don't know. I think, bro, it's just tough. Obviously, we've got Casemiro coming back. I'm kind of I'm kind of looking forward to see Casemiro and Kobe together. I think that could be decent. If you've got Casemiro doing off the ball things, and obviously Kobe will help out there, and then in possession and build up, that would be that'd be more menu. And then you can have Bruno actually playing forward as a 10 because like for a lot of this season he's been deeper than McTominay, who's been really our furthest forward midfielder. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I think in well, I mean, it's taken to this point of the season for Ten Hag to kind of see our best front three as Rashford on the left, Willian up front, Garnacho on the right. Like we've had so many combinations of forwards in different roles so far this season. Like he seems to be sticking with Rashford on the left, which is where I think he's best. Garnacho on the right, um, I think Garnacho is coming away this season. When I looked at his performances last season, he was really someone who could only make an impact off the bench against tired legs. Obviously, with his pace and he was direct and he would go at defenders constantly. And he still does that. He's still got that in his game, but I just think his decision making and like his maturity on the field, like it's really improving. And obviously, he's still got a way to go. Like his decision making is not perfect. Like there are ample opportunities I can think of this season where like he's shot instead of like squaring it to Hoyland or something. But he is improving and he is like he's someone that you can see has the mentality to improve. Like he's willing to learn and do what he has to do to get better. So but yeah, I mean those are really the only bright spots in this team, to be honest. You've got Garnacho, Manu, and that's about it, to be honest. It's been pretty bleak for us so far. So yeah. Um
What do you think of the Dallo and Bissaka debate? Which side are you on of
what
that debate?
It's a rubbish debate, man. What do you mean? They're both not good enough, bro. Uh, I think really, um, I think, well, I think we need a starting right back. I
Yeah,
think one of them has to go, and I think it should be Wan-Bissaka. I think Dallo, bro, the thing, Dallo doesn't make any sense to me, yeah, because he should be clearing away our starting right back, considering he's up against Wan-Bissaka. Because I think in possession and going forward, like he just offers everything Wan-Bissaka can't. Like obviously Wan-Bissaka's got the defending on him, but even that, like yeah, Wan-Bissaka is a great one-on-one defender. But in terms of like positioning and things at the back post, winning headers, I don't think he's really that strong in those areas. Like this season, not so much, but last season and in the past, like he's been caught out at the back post by runners like so many times. And like Dallo is decent in the air. He's like 6 foot. He wins a lot of headers against Liverpool. He was really good in the air and defensively. Um, so I think yeah, like Dallo, like we should sell Wan-Bissaka, keep Dallo, and then we should get a starting right back, and Dallo should be like a rotation option. Obviously, he can play left back as well. But yeah.
Affairs. Okay.
And then, all right, moving on to seventh, got Brighton. What have you made of Brighton this season? I think it was only recently against West Ham that they kept a clean sheet in the
Yeah.
league.
I
Um,
haven't been watching. I haven't been watching Brighton a lot this season, but I think from what I have seen, if I don't know, if it just feels like they're not as good as they were before. Like I don't understand why. Like they were losing lots of games. There was games they should be. There was games you'd expect them to be winning, and it's just like you check the score and like, oh wow. Or like I think there was like I can't remember the exact record, but there was like something crazy of like they hadn't won a game in like a month, I think, or something like that. And they hadn't kept a clean sheet in a long time. I think it was maybe October, November, around then sometime. Like there was like a long stretch of like weeks, including like Europa League, that they just had been losing, just losing, 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 losing. It was just like I don't know what was going on there because I hadn't been paying too much attention to those games, but I don't know. They're still within touching distance, I guess, seventh, and that's kind of all it really is with like the Premier League now. Is like you don't even have to be like great. Like you just have to be sort of thereabouts until like the business end when all the points
mm,
start adding up and it starts going from like 1 point gaps to like 3 point gaps to like 5 point gaps. And then you start getting a bit more secure and you can see who's going to be in the top four race, who's in like Europa League race, like that you just need to be around there for when it matters. And then from there on, just rack up the points and hope you're there, innit? So it feels like they had a bad start to the season, but I mean they're still kind of there, so you never know what will happen.
yeah, no, it's interesting with Brighton. I feel like obviously De Zerbi, I rate De Zerbi as a coach, and I think I've seen a lot of like Man United fans saying that it's the guy that they want if Ten Hag is to go. But I think for me, he's just like of course, he sticks to his principles, and I was praising Ange for that earlier. But I think with the squad and with some of the kind of parts that they've had, it's just made it that bit harder because you had someone like Moses Caicedo, who was I think he was very good for Brighton, and he
Yeah,
obviously commanded like what record-breaking transfer fee from Chelsea. I think that's he's the most
yeah,
expensive player
120.
ever. Yeah. So, and they're missing that, and that's obviously one of the reasons why their defensive solidity hasn't been as good. They were never really like the most solid defensive team. Like you could always get at them. They would concede goals, but I mean, I think it's only that clean sheet against West Ham in that 0-0 draw they've had all season. And yeah, going forward, I think Matoma is obviously a good player, but I don't think he's hit the levels that he did last season.
Yeah,
And Cesso's been injured for I think he got injured in like the third game of this season. He's been out the
he's
whole
out for
time, and
ages.
he
Yeah,
was yeah, he was someone who was really picking up form for the end of last season. So that's obviously hindering them. But I don't know. I think Brighton will be all right, man. Like they've got like they play nice football. The team is comfortable with the way they play, and it's just kind of I don't know. I just feel like it's individual players kind of dropping off, and it's obviously some of the departures they've had during the summer that's kind of hindering them. But yeah,
yeah. And João Pedro has been in decent form recently. It looks like so.
yeah,
I mean, I hope so. I put him in my FPL now at least, so he better
mm.
give me a return. But nah, he's been good the last few games I've seen of him. Yeah,
I
no.
mean, you don't miss penalties, so I mean that's guaranteed points if Brian get a penalty. So all right, and then in eighth place you have Chelsea.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, Chelsea.
Yeah, So what have you made of Chelsea this season, man? It's been interesting. Obviously, Poch's first season in the Prem. What have you made of it?
Bro, my boy Cole Palmer. Listen, man,
Mm,
yo, he's so good, man. I can't lie, I'm just happy he got. I'm happy he has the platform now to shine in it because
yeah,
he's so good, man. Honestly, he's ridiculous. Like I've been saying, you know as well, because I've been saying it to you, like how
yeah.
much I wanted this guy to start over Mahrez. Like I've been wanting this
Mm.
guy for ages, like, but now he's shining, I guess, in it. Um, so fair play to him. I think he's their like far and away best player. Sterling, I don't know. I think kind of against what like everyone sort of thinks. I don't think Sterling's that good. Like I thought he was great actually at first at obviously at City. I thought he was like one of the best wingers in the world. But since to be fair, it's weird. Ever since that Leon miss, it feels like to me he's just been on a downward decline ever since. And every season since then, it just gets worse and worse and worse. This season is actually better than last season, in my opinion, but it still feels like he's just not as good, at least in my opinion. I think someone that's really surprised me is Gusto at right back. I think he's been really
Oh no,
solid.
he's quality. He's
Yeah,
quality.
and he's only 20 as well. Like I was really surprised. Like I didn't know he was that young. Like he's really good, and he can. It's a bit refreshing because fullbacks these days they don't defend, they just attack, but he can actually hold his own. So it's like wow, okay,
Nah,
like it's a
he's
proper.
a he's a proper fullback. Come through Leon Academies. Like they had a great crop of players like him, Cherky, Kakare, Awa, those guys. Yeah, nah, I've known about Gusto. He's been a quality player. I was that was someone I was like Man United on the slide. You know, what I mean? You might want to get in there on Chelsea now. So
Yeah, fairs, man. Shout to Gustin and Paula. Um,
yeah,
the the main thing I've been hearing because I think recently, like last few weeks, I've watched probably less Chelsea than at the start. But main thing I've been hearing from Chelsea fans is they want to get the manager out. That's what I've been hearing. I've been hearing they want him gone because actually no, not even apparently because I did watch that game actually against Luton. They were struggling. And
oh,
against was it Middlesbrough with Hayden Hackney? Is that Middlesbrough that have him
I think
in the cup?
uh yeah they lost to Borough, innit? That's Carrick,
Yeah,
yeah, Carrick. Yeah, Hackney scored.
Carrick's the
Yeah,
man. Yeah, that
yeah.
yeah. So I think it was those two games. They were like, why are we struggling to this team with Enzo, Caicedo, Sterling, Palmer, and all these players? Why are we struggling to go against this team with like all these players? You know what I mean? And they did struggle to be fair. Like my boy Ross Barkley's putting in. Listen, if I made a team this season now,
The
Ross
lower league
Barkley's
KDB, bro. Ross Barkley's the lower league
he's
KDB,
going
the
in.
lower Prem KDB, bro.
Bro, I'm telling you, Ross Barkley is going in my team of the season. If they ask me to make one, he's going in there, number 8. Bro, he's been amazing. He's even playing six most of the time for Luton, but he's playing great, man. Honestly, crazy. He played against us. He destroyed us, man. He's great. But nah, they were struggling against these teams. Like Chelsea were really struggling to play against these teams, and it's just like why? Do you know what I mean? And Gallagher's in there. Sometimes Gallagher's kind of in like the McTominay sort of. I think he's better than McTominay, but he's in that sort of thing where McTominay will score like goals, and then he'll have games like against Liverpool where he just doesn't control the ball. Like that's what Gallagher does for Chelsea a lot. It seems like, and I don't know. But then at the same time, it feels like it feels like he's being given a role that mm, I've seen people say he's sort of where they want Enzo to be. I've seen people say that Enzo's being used wrong by Poch. That's another big like sort of criticism I've seen of him. And
Yeah.
that where Gallagher is, they want Gallagher to go and get Enzo in there and get another midfielder in there instead. But I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see. But from what I've seen, it looks like it could get rocky for Chelsea. I think Nico Jackson's at AFCON now, but he's not even
Yeah.
starting at AFCON from what I've seen. So he's not even the main striker. So I don't know. It just feels like the money's just been swallowed up into a black hole. Like I've said it before, like the money's just gone. Like they spent all the money
Yeah.
on the players, but you don't see the results. And you'd think maybe it was Potter or Lampard. So now you've got a experienced manager in, but it just feels like the same thing all over again. I don't know. I feel like the only real positive sort of sign like in the team right now is literally just Cole Palmer and Gusto. Like everyone else feels like a bit.
I think Madueke in recent weeks has been decent as
Oh
well.
yeah, yeah, actually, yeah,
Poch is giving him like a second chance. I don't know. At the beginning of the season, just kind of wrote him off. I think Madueke has impressed me when he's come off the bench or when he started games.
yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one for Chelsea because you look at like their midfield. You've got Enzo, you've got Caicedo, and I don't know. On paper, that should be a pivot that works. Like just almost like plug and play. Like do you know what I mean? And obviously, yeah, you're gonna have to coach them. You're gonna have to teach them certain things to play the way you want to play. But like there shouldn't really be too many points of those two starting, but they haven't really been like Poch hasn't been able to get it going with them. There are a couple games there where Enzo was out of the team, Chelsea were playing a bit better, and it's like obviously that's great for Chelsea picking up points, but you spent 105 million, I think Enzo was on this guy, and he's can't even get into your best team. Do you know what I mean? The team that's picking up points. Yeah, I think the Gallagher situation is interesting. I'm pretty sure he's been linked away
yeah.
in January because of
Because they keep
like
trying to get rid of him.
yeah, I don't know. He's been one of their players I feel like this season. I think
Yeah,
Chelsea fans have been saying he's been their best midfielder, which obviously is crazy considering how much money they spent. But I don't know. I think it would be strange of them to get rid of him. I understand it from like an FFP point of view because obviously he's a homegrown player, so it's like 100% profit and stuff. And obviously they spent a lot of money, so they do need to kind of recoup that towards FFP. But I just don't think right now Conor Gallagher is the guy you should be selling. And then in defense as well, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what Poch is doing there. Like I don't know why he consists with Colwell at left. Like he's just not a left back. I don't
yeah.
know why he persisted that. Thiago Silva, I think, is kind of he's showing his age at moments this
Bro,
time this season.
he's always at the crime scene. Always at the crime
Bro,
scene. When something
bro,
goes wrong, you'll find him there. He's just there. Bro.
yeah, man, always caught red-handed. And last season, Chelsea fans were gassed. Thiago Silva, best defender in the league. Da, da, da. And to be fair, like obviously you have to respect him. Like he's a legend in the game, but bro, he's 39. He shouldn't. I think he's 39, 38,
He's
39. He
39.
should. He should.
He's nearly 40. He should be in Saudi. Like he honestly
Yeah,
should.
he shouldn't be starting for starting for Chelsea. And he's showing his age and well in moments. And yeah, it's kind of costing them. So
Mm. Nah, honestly.
but yeah, no, that's all we have for the Premier League mid-season roundup. I wanted to take a quick detour, go into Spain quickly. La Liga. Obviously, it's an interesting season in Spain right now. You've got Girona top of the league,
Actually,
which
wait, quickly, I just remembered something. Before we go
yeah,
there,
yeah.
you to give a shout out to the boy Anthony Gordon. Because
Oh
he's
yeah,
cooking.
yeah.
Gordon is
No, we
cooking.
do, we
And the
do.
prediction was made by you that he's gonna have the
Mm,
breakout season.
yeah, nah. What I say, man, I'm a visionary, bro. I got it. But yeah, no, he's always good, bro. He's got to be on the plane. Yeah, no, I've been feel vindicated, bro. He's just been, yeah, everything I kind of said in that video. He's just kind of built on it. Like
Mm.
for Newcastle this season, I'd say he's been one of their most consistent players. Like they've had a lot of performers who have been up and down, like Trippier, like even Bruno G. Moraes, I think has been up and down this season. But I think Almiron as well. But Gordon on the left, on the right, like he can go either way. He's consistent. He's offers a threat, goals and assists. And yeah, I think he's been a quality player for them. Really been impressed with him and how he's kind of taking his game to like another level this season. And yeah, man, Gareth, bro, you got to get him on the plane. You got
Has
to
to.
get him on the plane.
Has to, man. Great player. Fantastic player, man. As you were saying, on to
Yeah,
Spain.
La Liga. All right. So you've got obviously Girona top of the league on 49 points right now. Real Madrid 1 point behind them with a game in hand. Um, and then you've got Barcelona and Atletico Madrid a bit off the trail. But yeah, have you been keeping up with the Liga this season? What have you thought of the
Here
title
and
race so
there,
far?
here and there, because I've seen, I'm scouting Michelle from Girona. I'm trying to
Oh
see if
yeah,
that's the new
technical
manager. So
placement.
I'm trying to scout him quickly. But I've
Mm,
heard good things. I've heard he's been really good. Like obviously you can see Girona doing what they're doing. And the maddest thing I didn't even know about them is when you look at what they're actually working with, their transfer spend is like ridiculously low.
Oh
Like,
yeah, no, they've not spent anything really.
yeah, that's why I didn't realize. Like, I thought they'd have maybe just like a Brighton thing of like they're signing like smart players and selling them on or something. But now they're just
Mm.
signing like 5 million players, 5 billion euro players from like Turkey or something, or from like Russia, and then just coming in and looking like world beaters. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that big guy is going crazy, bro, up front.
Yeah, like it's
Yeah,
like I didn't know where he came from. They got Savio, that's a CFG player.
yeah.
So hopefully he comes back
Mm.
to City, but he's doing well. I think he's a right winger, but he's played a lot off the left this season. He's looked good there.
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll win the league. I think that's an elephant on a tree situation. Like, they're gonna come down soon. Like, they're not gonna stay up there. I don't think. I think they've got in Madrid they've got a serious team that wears white, and I think
Mm.
they're gonna wrap it up, because the boy from Brum is just
He's
he's ripping up.
he's gone global now, bro.
I can't
Yeah.
lie. Yeah, I can't lie. He's ripped. Do you see
He's-
the Adidas boot? New boot.
Oh
I think
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Can't lie. He's ripping it up, man. I can't lie. If they had Ballon d'Or today, he's winning it. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. If you're going off this season so far, you have
Yeah,
to give it to G. You can't
he's
give it to anyone.
he's winning it. I'd have him and Kane as 1 and 2 for Ballon d'Or
Mm.
right now. But now he's ripping it up, man. I can't lie. They're doing their thing. I can't lie. You can't fault Madrid. They're winning their games. They're doing their thing. They've even got Kepa and goal, which, I mean, no disrespect to Kepa, but like, having Courtois out, like, it makes a big difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're still doing well. But yeah, no. Have you caught any Madrid this season?
Yeah, nah, here and there. I think I've been, to be fair, I've been impressed with how they've kind of taken to this diamond formation. Like,
Mm,
I was one who was like, is it really the best to get the best out of Vinny and Rodrigo? And I still think, yeah, obviously they're better in wide areas, but I mean, those are two world-class players. Like, they're gonna perform. Like, Vinny hat trick the other day against Barcelona in
yeah,
the Copa del Rey, I believe.
yeah,
Like, these guys are too good, man. Their depth in midfield is ridiculous as well. Like,
yeah,
past Bellingham, you've got Cruz, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Modric. Like, the list just goes on. Like, it's ridiculous. Um, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of crazy because Real Madrid, I think they've had like three ACLs. I think it was Courtois,
Milito,
Militao,
Militao,
and Alaba, I
yeah,
think. Yeah. And it just doesn't seem to have shaken them at all. Like, they just keep going. And yeah, I don't know. For me, I think it's looking like Liga, they'll probably wrap it up, and that their sights are going to be set on the Champions League this season. Um, Going back and doing that again. Yeah, the 15th, I think it would be, or the 16th,
yeah.
15th.
Number
Yeah,
15, yeah.
yeah. And I don't know. I think in Europe, I don't really, unless, well, I got to see what City turn into in the second half of the season. But right now, I don't see any team really beating them in the Champions League over two legs. So yeah.
Fairs. I've been observing, just briefly observing Barcelona. It's not
Mm,
looking good, man. The boy Xavi. I said it before. I think, I don't know if it was on here. It might have been on here, but I said I think Xavi and Ten Hag are sort of similar tier. Like, he's proven that right at the
mm,
moment, because boy, they look a mess. They honestly look a mess. Like, Gavi got his ACL obviously, and he's like one of their most important players. But like, players aside, like, I understand the players, like, it doesn't really suit them at the moment. They got Felix off the left, who's not been too great recently. Lewandowski's just like a shell of his former self.
but
Um,
I can't lie, man. Lowe's looking rough, bro. I know
he's,
that's been he's been your guy, but
he's been watched for
still
like a
looking.
year now, though. Like, it's not
Yeah,
new.
yeah. Even back in the last season, like he was
Yeah, he's been watched for time now, man. He's got to go Saudi, man. He's got to go there and secure the bag
get
there,
the
man.
bag. Yeah,
But honestly, I don't know, man. It's looking really bad. Gundogan's probably looked the best out of the midfielders, but it's like, against Real Madrid is like such a good example. Like, that first goal, Koundé, I don't know what he was doing at the back, but it's like their midfield is just so easy to bypass now, because it's
yeah,
like Gavi was the one who brought the aggression. Like, when they played in the league, Gavi was like going at it with Jude. Like, he was really physical and like loving it. But now Gavi's not there. It's like the midfield is so easy to just run through. Like it's like there's no sort of protection there, and then defensively they're not great either, and they're not really providing the sort of edge in attack either because their attackers aren't doing that well either. Do you know what I mean? It just I don't know. It feels like that combined with the tactics. The tactics are just really like not really working at the moment. It just doesn't feel like they're gonna do great this season. And then when you've got Atletico Madrid, you've got Morata, who's on like he's on track for like his best goal scoring season ever, and Griezmann's obviously going to be Griezmann. Like, do you know what I mean? But,
Yeah, no, I'd agree. Agree heavily with the point in midfield about their like lack of aggression. I just like if you look at their midfield, they don't really have anyone who can provide that. I don't know, PMP. And okay, you might say you're like I'm looking at it with a Premier League mindset where PMP is more kind of necessary in the Premier League. But even if you want to look at like Real Madrid, they've got Tchouaméni, they've got Camavinga in there, they've got Jude Bellingham, guys that are gonna get up and get down. They're going to win the ball back. They're going to like all over the pitch. They're going to be running the full 90. And Barcelona's midfielders just can't really match up with that. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's an interesting one. Xavi's I don't know. I'm not really too sure what tier of manager I put Xavi in because it's like at times like obviously they like Barcelona won the league what last season.
last season, yeah, they won it
And
last season.
I think they conceded like barely any goal. I think they set a ridiculous record. It was like
Yeah,
yeah. Um, but this season it seems to be kind of falling apart for him at the moment, and I don't know. He's kind of Xavi kind of looked like he's out of ideas in terms of his system. It's like this is the way we're gonna play, and it's not working. But you just stick at it, guys. Like we're gonna get through it. It's gonna be like it's gonna click. But I
yeah.
think for me, it's got to make a change somewhere. Like something's not right. So yeah. But lastly, before we round up the pod, of course, we have to talk about the Africa Cup of Nations that kicked off recently.
Yeah.
Um, who do you have? I'm just going to start off the bat. Who do you have as favourites to win? Who do you think will win?
Ghana, bro. Ghana, always Ghana, bro.
Ah, come on, man. Let me be realistic, bro. Who do you value to the other day? Cape Verde. That's
Bro,
where Nani's from. Remember Nani? That's where he's from, bro.
who? Nani? Is that where he's from?
Nani, yeah, he's from Cape Verde, bro.
Do you know what is with us here? Oh my days. I watched the game and it's just like, bro, I couldn't believe my eyes. Cape Verde were playing out the back against us, like possession football, and Bebe was up top. Bebe, he was up top.
Oh, yeah, he
Le-
scored against you, no? Oh, my life, he scored.
No, I don't
Not
think
scored.
he scored. I don't think he scored, but he was up
Didn't
top.
score.
There was times he nearly scored. I was like, bro, please don't let Bebe score against us. But it's just like I don't know. It just looked like a mess. Like I saw the lineup and I was like, this is like a worse team. Like, where's all the great players? Do you know what I mean? But aside from the lineup, like the tactics itself, like they get the ball and the players will just boot it straight away. I'm like, why? Like, why are we not trying to like attack them? Like, we're just kicking the ball away. Like, I don't know, like more than two of their players, and we're
Mm.
here trying to like act as if they're like prime Real Madrid against us, and we're scared. Like, I don't know. It just really frustrated me. But now, jokes aside, I think team that will probably win it from what the games I've seen so far. It's looking like Ivory Coast quite strong from what I've seen so
Yeah,
far.
I think Ivory Coast, yeah. I watched the open against Guinea-Bissau and Senegal as well. I think they have a good shot at retaining it. I feel like their squad is kind of at a good balance between like the older players and the younger players coming through. Like they've obviously got Nico Jackson, they've got Lamine Kamara, who's doing really well, scored two great goals actually in their first game. And obviously they've got likes of Sadio Mane, Koulibaly. Um, yeah, their quality. Morocco as well.
Oh yeah,
Obviously
I
after
think
what they did in
Morocco
the
played
World Cup.
today.
Yeah, yeah, they won 1-3-0. Yeah, nah, big shout there. But I have to talk about Nigeria, man. For me, I think, well, I don't know, man. For me, we're one of the favorites until we go out of the tournament. I just yeah, I have to back us. But bro, this I don't know what is our country's obsession with not calling up midfielders, bro. I think we called up five or something
Yeah,
like that.
five. You're like five, and then
Yeah,
like eight strikers or something.
yeah, bro. Like and we called up. We didn't even call up. Who did we called up like Ahmed Musa and stuff. I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
like we're not in. This is not 2015. Like, what's going on? Nah, I don't know. Nigeria is a weird one. Like I watched our game against Equatorial Guinea, and it's like it's just the plan just seems to be get Osimhen the ball. Do you know what I mean? Like create chance for Osimhen, and yeah, like that's great and stuff. But it's like the manager needs to put in the players in midfield that can do that. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got guys like Joe Aribo, who's like he's decent as a number 10. Like I need to see him get more minutes. I think he came off the bench in the game against Guinea-Bissau or against Equatorial Guinea, sorry. Um, and we didn't really have enough time to kind of see him. Those are the types of players I'm trying to see link up with Osman, create chances for him. I think we had Moses Simon on the left as well with Lookman. Lookman got the assist. I think I like that because obviously those are two wingers that will get at a man they'll cross. I think that's obviously what Osman needs to feed off in the box. But I think our our success kind of hinges on how we balance that midfield, to be honest. Like the combinations we put in there. We've obviously Ndidi out for the tournament. It's looking like oh my days, Onyeka starting and Iwobi next to him. So I
Crazy
don't
that
know, man.
balance.
Could be could be rough, man. Iwobi in a double pivot.
It's
Onyeka,
crazy.
I don't know, man. It's not looking too great. But yeah.
No, fair enough.
But yeah, guys, that's all we have for this week. Um, back first pod of 2024. Going to be more consistent this year for sure. But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and until next week.